DanDaDan. You know, every time I say that fucking name, it always reminds me of Bobo 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 or Bobo 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 Bobo. Bobo 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 Bobo. You know, however the fuck the announcer decided to say it on that day, because he used to change the way he said it. I know I'm crazy, but that motherfucker definitely said it more than one way. Now, this show is the craziest shit I've seen all year. And when you dealing with a crazy motherfucker, the shit I see in my head on a regular basis is outrageous enough. So when you got a crazy motherfucker saying he's seeing crazy shit, that's some crazy shit. Like, I've got no words and so much to say at the same time. Like, I normally don't watch shit like this that has minors and lose situations. I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. And I damn sure don't like talking about it when I do see it. But this show in particular, there's absolutely no motherfucking way you don't talk about some of the shit that you saw in it. It's fucking impossible. There's no fucking way that you can just somehow magically not talk about the egregious fucking nonsense that you saw in this first episode. Like, that shit was the right amount of crazy, wild, bizarre, unique shit that I love to see. This is the type of shit that makes me believe some days that I'm sane. But enough about me, because we got some shit to speak about. So moving on to the main character. First off, main character, and in this case, we got two. At least for the first episode. Our two main characters are, Ken and Momo. And since we saw Momo first, we're gonna start on her. First of all, this bitch has like a pretty unique fucking hair and eye color. It's kind of like burgundy / magenta, but I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards burgundy. And you generally don't see burgundy as a hair color. Well, shit, just as a color in general used for characters, especially not main characters. Aesthetically, it looks good. I mean, she's wearing a typical high school uniform. I don't know what the fuck they're even in. Like, are they in middle school? High school? I don't fucking know. But anywho, we gotta talk about this bitch skirt, though. Whole time I'm watching this shit, I'm like, why the fuck is this bitch skirt so short? Her fucking skirt is like 2 inches long, bruh. The wind blowing all her shit on blast for the people who have to announce themselves when they move in the neighborhood can see. Like, come on now, bro. My daughter would never. And it wouldn't be no, I'm gonna leave the house in some good clothes and change before I get home type shit. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I'll embarrass you in front of the school. Don't do that. Because you leave the house like that and then wonder why old boy asking why you ain't putting out, which, that was a thing in the first, minute of the fucking episode. Now, I ain't saying that piece of shit was right, or that I agree with this motherfucker. But goddamn it, I feel it. If you broke and you ain't giving me none, bitch, hit the curb. Fuck out of here. Go on now. Get. And don't you find your way around here neither. Moving on. She got a pretty unique personality in the sense that, she wants to find a boy that resembles this kinfucker that she knew or idolizes or is just infatuated with for whatever fucking reason. Whoever the fuck he is. Apparently, he's somebody who's very influential in her life. God damn it, that motherfucker can't speak right now. And, she just happened to fall in love with to the point where, she'll even date a man that has characteristics of Ken. Like, it doesn't have to be him, but as long as someone remotely has any type of characteristics with, associated with Ken, she's with it. And, I mean, clearly the standards aren't high, because you saw what her ex is, her now ex, because in the first minute, they were together. Crazy how shit happens in 30 seconds. But, clearly the standards are high, if only real women were this simple. And, I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, apart from that, she knows what she wants. And she's pretty proactive in getting it. Like, can we talk about how this bitch got dumped and moved on immediately 30 seconds after? Like, she got dumped. She cried for like 30 seconds. And then she's back on the prowl. Like, goddamn, talk about short attention span. Bitch, I got ADHD and I don't even move on that fast. I mean, come on. You said that was your first boyfriend too? Please. I'm finna at least give me about a good boo-hoo in a depression nut or something, goddamn it. She moved on and walked down the hallway to beat Big Chungus Ken, who was getting bullied in class. So, I'm so sick of seeing that shit in anime. But anywho, she sits down to fuck with him for no reason. She looks up at the class, so I assume it was to stop him from being bullied. Cool beans. Would have loved it if he stuck up for himself at the same time. But whatever. She immediately loses interest and walks the fuck out. Like I said, her attention span shorter than mine. Momo got the attention span of a squirrel. For those of you who don't know, squirrels have an attention span of, about a second. However, they can focus on an acorn for almost 5 minutes. Ken is an acorn. Anything else, this bitch a goldfish. Anywho, she believes in ghosts since her grandmother was a spirit medium, or is. Not sure yet, but she talks as if she's no longer in her life or around. Whether that be deceased or otherwise remains to be seen. On the flip side, she does not believe in aliens. But, she can fight, although clearly she's not strong enough since old boy folded her like the rapper on a Now and Later. But, she gets an A for effort. Even though that bitch starts with an E, I never really understood that saying. But, and eventually she awakens her powers later in the episode, which is dope. And I guess she's one of those people who tends to hide her feelings based on how she reacts to Ken at the end of the episode. Type of shit I hate, but whatever. But one thing I do like is that, she tries to remain pure as far as her chastity is concerned. However, that skirt is clearly contradictory to that. She is saving her virginity for that perfect person, like a lot of us do. And I have no problem with that. I once thought my first time would be with the perfect woman in the perfect scenario. I get it. But life don't happen that way. And if it was perfect for you, you are a fucking outlier. You are an exception, not the rule. My first time was 2 hours long, so I enjoyed it. But it was far from perfect. Even me being an outlier, it still wasn't perfect. Because how many people say that their first time was 2 hours long. But it was good enough. And I like that she's holding out the dream that it would be perfect for whoever she thinks this Ken person with whom she's so infatuated. She's holding out for him, so I resonate with that on some level. Because like I said, at one point I thought my first time would be perfect. I'm pretty sure a lot of people think their first time would be perfect, and most people end up, disappointed that it's not perfect. But that's the bullshit expectations we set on ourselves and others in life, which we should not do. Live every day and just try some shit and see what the fuck happens. You just never know what the fuck could happen. But anyways, remember, Ken could be anybody in her mind. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ken himself. So moving on to Big Chungus, the Dungless, Ken. Ken starts off so fucking bland. His design is mediocre, unimaginative compared to the other characters, bland, generic. And while that is the case, he makes up for it here and there with personality. Now, I'm not a fan of letting people bully you. Never. Wayne said it best. Bullies aren't bulletproof. Now, I ain't saying become the school shooter. But you can always get a bat and catch them bitches lacking in the bathroom while they taking a piss. You feel me? Let them pussies know. You ain't gonna allow that shit to continue. Shit, even if they bigger and stronger. You hit a motherfucker in the calves while they taking a piss at the urinal, it's over with. They gonna crumble like a cookie in this free game. Just know you might get pissed on. But Ken is cool. He a nerd like me on some nerdy shit. And he's infatuated with aliens. I mean, really infatuated. Like, when you meet somebody and you just shove that shit down their throat because the motherfucker sat down beside you. I mean, I don't even think I guess she spoke like one line that wasn't even really indicative that she was even trying to get close to her. I mean, she said one fucking line, looked at the book, and all of a sudden he's shoving all types of extraterrestrial shit down her throat. Yeah. And, on the opposite side of the spectrum, Momo, she doesn't believe in aliens, and he doesn't believe in ghosts. So, you got some yin and yang shit going on here. Where Momo is extroverted and confident, she don't even bother to cover herself when indecent or nearly naked. Ken is introverted and timid for the most part. Like, he doesn't even look at Momo when he first speaks to her in the hallway. Not a character type I like. But he makes up for it. I know there's a lot of shit I'm saying I don't like, but there's some things that he makes up for. Because after being completely rejected by Momo, I mean, she went off on this man. You would think he would be completely shut down, especially after dropping his Alien magazine. I was like, damn, bro, don't let us see you dropping the shit, man. Don't let us see you cry, nigga. Don't let us see you cry. But at the moment she mentioned ghosts, that motherfucker was like, you dumb bitch, you believe in ghosts? I was in tears. Bro stood on business and did not back down either. 10 toes down. Motherfucker did a handstand, 20 toes down. He did not budge. And I was like, you know what? You got some main character points for that. I fuck with it. Don't back down because it's a bitch you talking to. Men and women live and die the same. Eat, sleep, and shit the same. Stand your ground, young man. I got your back. I got your back. Also, later on, when he was told, what he had to do to remove the curse, he didn't even hesitate. He said, my bro said, I bet. I got you. I'll holler at you when I get done. Bro just kept it moving on some big dog shit. Not something you'd expect from a character who just got bullied. You'd think he'd be on some Zenitsu type shit, scared than a bitch, not going anywhere near the shit anymore. But he does it willingly, without question. And he didn't even ask Momo to join him on some grown man shit. He was finna get shit done, and I resonate with that on a level you can't understand. I'm the type of person when shit needs to get done, it gets done. No matter how impossible the task, I get it done. And as you follow me on my journey, you'll get to see that. So, when after all this shit he went through this episode, him not hesitating to keep it pushing, that's fucking phenomenal. That's so, man, I love it as a character, bro. I love it. I love it. And I mean, like I said, it resonates with me on a level you can't understand, because if anyone knows me, I hate asking for help. And I barely ask. Oftentimes, you'll have to offer it for me to accept it, regardless of the fact that everyone on the planet needs somebody. Even people who claim they don't need anyone need someone to survive, or something to survive. Even if you were solo, you need customers, you need buyers, or employers, or employees, or someone to sell to, or animals to hunt, or insects to pollinate or fertilize. Every living thing needs another living thing. No matter how much we tell ourselves we'll do it ourselves and focus on ourselves, you need another living thing. And even still, we try to do the hardest task alone. And when he set off to accomplish such a difficult task alone, that spoke to me. It hit home. And not only did he set out to do it, he was willing to do it in nothing but his underwear, nothing but his drawers, lending his clothes to Momo so that she could get home safely and comfortably, on some gentleman shit, which I was taught growing up. But with the world, the way the world is these days, I tend to pick and choose when I should be chivalrous. But just know, a motherfucker learned from the best of them how to be a gentleman. And I can even alter my vocabulary if necessary to give you a different impression about my upbringing, to inform you that yours truly is capable of a vernacular that one would acquire in a more civilized society. But that comes with whoever the fuck I'm talking to at the time. Most of the time you gonna hear me talk like this, normal type shit. All in all, I like him. While he has his moments where he gets scared, allows himself to be bullied, and talk to any kind of way, his other qualities make up for it to me. Like, to the point where I can place him as an above average main character, even though he has all this shit pulling him down, taking away points, putting him below. Like, some of the things that he does well is just like, I fuck with this, I resonate with this, I like this. I like it enough to put you, above average. Because I've seen some main characters where it's like, alright, okay, they have all the same shit that I don't like about Ken, and I'm like, okay, but there's a redeeming quality. It's coming. And then that shit just never comes. Never fucking comes. Never comes. Or when it does come, it's so minuscule and minute that I just don't even care. Like, it didn't even redeem it for me. Buchigiri. Ugh. Because I don't understand how that show has all the most amazing side characters, but the main character and the bitch he likes are just fucking terrible. But everyone else is so unique in that show. We're not even gonna get started on it. We're not even gonna get started. That's another topic for another time. But like I said, there are some things that puts him above average. Now, I won't commit to saying that I like him this early in the game because I've already stated shit that I don't like. Momo is Momo. And I like some things about her, but like I said, I'm gonna reserve if I truly like them or not till later. We're just gonna say that. Like I said, Momo's Momo. There's some things I like about her as well. Currently, she ranks higher than Ken slightly, but not by much. I can already tell based on what they've been through that these two will be more than likely get together, And if they don't, this story is probably some bullshit. And that would be depressing because the start was so good. Like, for the story to be some bullshit after the start was this wild and this wacky, I mean, come on now. Like, this is how you do a pilot. This is how you pull people in. Opposed to a boring ass anime I'll review in the future that disappointed the fuck out of me for its first episode. There be some bad shit that gets made. Some bad shit like a billy goat or a sheep. I don't know. So moving on to the next topic. Antagonists. So right now we have a myriad of antagonists for Ken and Momo. From boyfriends to bullies to ghosts to aliens. All of which for some reason are dingaling starved minus the boyfriend, but clearly he's starved for snoo. Like, what in the actual fuck? Granny trying to eat meat like it's falling off the bone. Ever seen them ads saying horny grannies in your area? I didn't know them bitches were in a tunnel. I'm talking granny showed up and said, you can suck these tits if I can eat that dick. Bitch, what? I mean, I guess ghosts don't give a fuck about dick eating minors, but this shit is out of pocket like a motherfucker. Granny talking about she ate, bro, this shit out of pocket like a motherfucker. Granny talking about she ate Ken's dick and he can't get it back unless he come back to the tunnel. Excuse me? So that boy finna get his dick ate again. Like, bitch, fuck out of here. If you don't eat my dick, at least let me get off first shit. Like, this ain't even on no hear me out type bullshit. Like, Granny freaky than a bitch. She got my man's dick eating aliens at the shit in the end of the episode. Like, there's all types of what the fuck present. And it's the amount of, like, and the crazy thing is, it's the amount of crazy that I love. The type of crazy that I would write if I was telling a story. And if I ever do decide to write something, you better not tell me my shit can't get made, because I done seen some wild shit these days in anime. And penis munching grannies are up there on that list of wild shit. Then you got the cheek slaying triple alien triad, the gangbang degenerates and dingaling stealers, talking about they gonna steal your bananas and shit. Bitch, this ain't a grocery store. You can't just be stealing bananas like we're gonna come back in stock within the next 48 hours. The fuck? I got one banana for life and I appreciate this motherfucker. And you talking about sex? No. Where I'm from, forcibly tying down minors and trying to fuck them is called something completely different. We got a trio of Fleece Johnsons here. They posted up in the hallway looking for booty and goddamn it, they found it in the most ungentlemanly way possible. These minor fiends wasted no time pulling the clothes off Momo. And they had the audacity to say they took great care of her stuff after throwing them bitches promptly on the floor. They ain't sew it up or nothing. They said, yeah, we took care of your shit. It's over there. It's nice and safe. I mean, in pieces. In tatters. And they talking about they took care of shit and then wasted no time pulling out their robotic slangers trying to fuck after like 5 sentences. Talking about, don't worry, we'll get you hot and ready like Little Caesars. Motherfuckers got mind control and shit acting a fool. Like, who is the fucking degenerate who came up with this shit? But at the same time, it's real. Because if you have mind control, I'm sure at some point it would cross your mind to use it in such a way. Not saying that I agree with it, or that one would act on it, but realistically and statistically speaking, with 7 billion people on the planet, it would cross quite a few people's minds in an era where people are starved for attention, love, and affection. And I mean, I don't even need to elaborate on that. You can just look anywhere on social media. People are starved for these things. So this is why, for now, we don't have mind control or superpowers. But, that'll probably change once Elon Musk convinces the naive world that his brain chips are a good thing. Because I don't understand. That's, like I said, it's another topic for another thing. But yeah, these aliens are on some freaky shit. And the only option we ain't seen freaky yet, is the bullies. Shit, wow. And I mean, the bullies are just standard bullies on some generic shit, which goes to show that even in something as crazy as this, there is still a lot of generic shit mixed in. But the other things stick out so much that you don't necessarily notice it immediately. But when you take the time to actually pay attention to the details, there are quite a few things that are, shit you see in most anime. It's just that the other things are so outrageous that they overshadow the generic aspects. But, we're moving on to the plot now. So, the plot so far is pretty interesting. It's interesting enough to keep you watching if you're invested in it. Basically, the main characters meet, they set out to prove to the other that what they believe in isn't real, and they both end up finding that they were both right, which is a nice twist. Oh, and Ken is now meatless, because Pickle Gobbler 9000 ate his shit like pigs eat slop. So I'm assuming they have to go, to set out to fix that, or else she can't ever lose her virginity to Ken like she wants. Which, again, feels weird since we're talking about minors, but, we deeper than a sperm searching for an egg, so, yeah, if you sum it up, that's pretty much the plot. This quest to get Ken's beef jerky back. That's basically what it is. This is the quest to get Ken's beef jerky back. So, moving on to character, personality, variety. All I'm gonna say is, the ops freaky than a bitch. Shit wild, shit crazy. But apart from them, there are some differences in personalities. Momo's friends seem like they have similar personalities, at least so far. It's not too much different between the two of them. So, while the ghosts and the aliens are both freaky, and even Momo and Ken share the same passion for what they believe in. So, like, the way that Momo believes in ghosts is the same intensity that Ken believes in aliens. So, that being said, the variety in personalities is not so broad. For example, each character is not different enough to say that if my eyes were closed, I'd know exactly who is who. At least not yet. It's not there yet. However, I will say that between each group of people that I mentioned, there are differences between the groups. So like how I mentioned, the similarities between Momo and Ken, Momo's friends, and then all the freaky ops. So, between those groups, like if you were to talk about like Ken and Momo are completely different from Bad Granny and Fleece Aliens, as well as completely different from Momo's ex-boyfriend. So, even if Momo and her ex are both somewhat shallow in what they wanted from the other person, he wanted Snoot Storm money and she wanted him to be Ken, neither liked each other for who they were. So you can tell, take that as you will. But, while I like what's going on, objectively speaking, there are some similarities in certain character groups, and I'd like to see them fleshed out a bit more to create more of a expansive dynamic, if you will. But this is an inherent problem with showing so many characters at once, because you have to create very different dynamics between each of them so that each one feels like their own character. But I imagine we'll get, more diversity later on, so I'm not too worried about this character. This category. Next, aesthetics. Aesthetically, this shit is beautiful as fuck. There are so many moments during animation, like little details, such as Momo's lips when her head turns around in school and she looks into the class, and it shows the pink lipstick that contrasts with her burgundy hair. The colors are so vibrant, even in situations where it probably shouldn't be. Like when Ken was running from the egg roll devourer in the tunnel, that red lip, that lit up the tunnel, like just basically eclipsed the whole tunnel while he was running out. Looked like some red velvet cake. Just awesome. And even going to the different colors used for the aliens and Freaky Granny, there are clear distinctions between their color palettes. Even down to Momo's friends. One chick uses a rather eccentric style of makeup that sets her apart from the other characters, like just straight up, like shit you don't really see in anime at all. Like it's pretty fucking unique. And if they were in anything other than school clothes, which is generic, they could probably cook up some awesome outfits. But so far the aesthetics are eye candy at times. Like when Momo's power awakened and she broke out of her constraint, I was fucking mesmerized by the beauty and the coloration. Like it was bright and radiant with the animation to back it. Like kudos. Even down to when Kim was running from the sausage guzzler in the tunnel, and each step he took, the exit got further away. Shit was pleasing to watch from start to finish. From the first moment when Momo fought her ex to the end where the ship flew through the building. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So we're going to move on to the world building. Now there's a bit of world building, but not too much. So we do see that there are aliens and that there are ghosts, and for some reason there's no teacher in the school. Small details like this can sometimes break away from the immersion. However, it didn't for me this time. But this is why writing a story is hard. There's little details that people don't take into consideration or pay attention to that can hold a work of art back from being a masterpiece. But the truth is, a monumental amount of work goes into a masterpiece. Making sure that loose ends are tied up, taken care of, while still progressing the story. Ensuring that each scene is essential to the point where the story can't function without it, giving information subtly without info dumping, and still keeping the story interesting. And these are just the basics. It's hard as fuck. Doing a review like this gives me an appreciation for the art. It's too early to speak on world building as a whole, but I can say that the world is relatively modern. People are using cell phones, there's alien technology that is surprisingly effective. Like the fact that their ship was posing as the moon at night and no one noticed that there were two moons is fucking crazy, if you ask me. But once again, that's another small detail. So this is partially why I only watch shows once. If I watch something I like over in its entirety, I'll begin to notice problems and issues with the work. So if you ever plan to show me your work, please know you will only get one chance, as I like whatever I felt when I watched it the first time to remain pure. Because if I watched it in its entirety, I enjoyed it. Most shows do not get that from me these days, as I've consumed vast amounts of fiction. So, but trying to get back on topic, the world building so far is decent. It's pretty decent. So we're going to move on to this power scaling. And now this is interesting because we saw a lot in the first episode. Since we saw Ken first, we'll start with him. First off, this motherfucker teleported from the tunnel to an alien spaceship in the sky via telephone. What? That's unique as shit. Some shit I would do if I was creating a story. Also, Freaky Granny is fast as shit. So fast that the Diddly Diddlers couldn't attack her with psychokinesis, which is generally instantaneous. So when considering that, I can assume one of two things. Freaky Granny is faster than instantaneous mind abilities, which I highly doubt, or the power scaling in this show is weaker than average. Now, this is more likely the scenario since Freaky Granny is slammed into the wall. Metal wall, might I add, putting a big ass dent in that bitch. Before she can finish off all the Diddly Diddlers. And she's attacked again before she has a chance to break out and try to save Momo, who eventually has to save herself. So you can't really be that busted or that fast if you getting caught in a character that has to save their goddamn self. So like I said, I think this is on the weaker side of things in anime. But the characters start off strong relative to their universe, and we'll see where they go from here. There are psychic abilities, but clearly nowhere on the level of Mob from Mob Psycho 100 or anything remotely close to that. Hell, even the Diddly Diddlers weren't able to succeed using their powers on Momo, who had not yet mastered her own. Which is tragic. Like, if you're gonna take cheeks, don't suck at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm so glad they did fail. But they seem, weak as hell, which doesn't help the scaling as much. But Freaky Granny seems to reach a level equal to or slightly above the Diddlers, while Momo just straight up blew them out the water with her power. Even the Diddlers had to acknowledge her power. It was like, Star Wars. It was like some rave-resistant Kylo Ren shit in the new Star Wars trilogy, which didn't make sense then, and it still doesn't make sense now in this story. Accomplished users of a technique should not be getting resisted by someone who is untrained and hasn't fully awakened their powers. It unfortunately turns your ops into jobbers, and we just all love seeing jobbers, don't we? But Momo's psychic powers remain to be seen. Due to how easily she shattered her constraints, I can say this bitch is pretty strong, as it pertains to our universe. Well, gotta keep it in bounds and raised in reality. Ugh. But we don't have any information as to how strong the ship was, so we have to surmise that it's probably as durable as a rocket ship. something that could, easily travel through space, if not slightly more, because I'm pretty sure if you're coming from different planets and everything, there's different factors that you have to go through. So there's different compressions, velocity, different pressures that hit the ship, different temperatures that you have to account for. So I mean, if you can travel from one side of the galaxy all the way to the other to come and try to diddler some miners, I'm pretty sure your ship is rather durable. But we just don't know the extent to how durable it is. But Momo is strong enough to maybe dismantle a ship, because like I said, when her powers awakened, she completely shattered her restraints apart, along with parts of the ship. So she probably can dismantle a ship. I mean, that we'll say that she might be on that level. So on I think, was it Kenobi, the new Star Wars ship where Vader pulled up and started ripping apart the damn ship. She might be on that level, and that's still not even the full extent of Vader's power. But like I said, another topic for another time. But like I said, the important thing is she's stronger than everyone else we've seen so far, for the most part, outside of Freaky Granny, because she couldn't even outright remove the curse from Ken, which makes the scaling a bit weird, because Ken lost to the aliens and Momo beat the aliens, but Ken was also using Freaky Granny's power, but for some reason she can resist Momo? I mean, and Momo's psychic powers were stronger than the diddlers that folded Freaky Granny. The more I think of it, the worse it gets, so I'm just gonna move on. Enjoyability. That's the next topic. If you simply enjoy the ride, it's enjoyable as fuck. If you break things down the way I do, you might enjoy it less. Or you might not. I'm enjoying it despite my strange brain that has to figure out everything subconsciously. So there's that. There's all types of wacky, crazy shit. The only thing I don't enjoy so far, if you hadn't noticed, is that the characters are teens. Because I don't feel like they should be dealing with diddly diddlers and dick-eating grannies. Am I alone on this? I mean, that aside, it's a fun-ass ride. Like, life is a highway, and I want to ride it. That's how I'm feeling right now. All night long. All right, moving on. Predictability. There are a couple things that I saw coming. Like, both of them seeing what the other believed in was true. That Ken was going to take off running to get away from the freaky grannies in his area, and that Momo would fall for Ken. Not making an ultimate deduction now, but seeing how the man she's looking for is named Ten Takakura, and she did state that she's bad with names. This is that's a big thing, which means it's highly possible that she just forgot this Ken's name. And I'm pretty sure this is the man she's infatuated with and just doesn't know it. Especially since he even said one of his lines. If I'm wrong about this is a great show, because I didn't see it coming. Now, I've seen so much fiction to the point where I can tell you what's going to happen down to the next words that characters will say. And if I can do that, your show is not worth watching. Like, I've seen it before, it's generic and pointless. Now, I can say with true conviction that there were many things in this show that I simply did not fucking see coming. Which means, by my definition, that it would be a good show. At least a good episode. We'll start there. Catching me off guard is hard, and this shit has caught me off guard a few times already with just one episode. So on the unpredictability scale, I'm damn near giving this shit a 9 out of 10. If I was ever to write a story, it would be as wild as this. Trust me. This is the type of shit I live for. The unknown, the unexpected. And if you stick around long enough, you'll get to know my top 10 anime. Once again, another topic for another time. Pacing. Now, the pacing is pretty rapid and I like it. I like when shit starts where it's supposed to and keeps it moving. I hate with a fucking passion when you show me something interesting and then flashback 3 weeks earlier. Bitch, if you do that, you're automatically minus 50 on the grading scale. But here, no, they start off in the present and flashback when necessary. The flashbacks bring an insight as to why things are happening, so they are bringing true value and sustenance to the story. For example, if you weren't paying attention to them, you wouldn't know that the reason why she stuck up for Ken is because she was bullied and picked on herself at one point when she was doing the little protective chant that her grandmother taught her to do, or whatever, where she sticks her hand above her head. So, information that we received from the flashback was pertinent for your understanding of the character and getting a little bit into their mindset as to why they do things. Now, I'm not one who likes flashbacks that happen too much, but if they're done right, used sparingly, and provide value, I'm all for it. Go for it. Take me on that ride. Despite the flashbacks, everything flowed perfectly. You start off in school, the characters meet, they are passionate in what they believe in, they set off to prove the other wrong, and they run into their ops. They beat one set of ops, and both acknowledge that they were both right and believe in each other's beliefs now. And now they're about to go see the horny granny that lives 3 miles away and can't wait to swallow a New York beef frank. I mean, bro, shit's wild. This shit is wild, bro. But it's flowing. And at no point did I feel like, oh, this is dragging. Oh, this is bullshit. No, in fact, it was one of those things where, like, I kind of didn't want the episode to end. Which brings me to the next topic. Do I like it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Like I said, my biggest issue, though I pointed out more, too many times in this review, is that they're minors. I don't like watching sexual things with children because I can't think of minors that way. I get it. I was once a teen, and I know all the shit I got into as a teen, all the women I messed with from 10 to 18, and I know the shit I did with it. So believe you me, I haven't forgotten what it was like to be a kid. I knew motherfuckers that were having sex competition with their partner when I was a freshman in high school. So imagine what kind of effect that had on me. I got into some freaky shit. So don't get me wrong, I get it. But when the characters are damn near half my age now, it's different. When I was younger, shit was cool. But now my mind has developed past certain things. That being said, I still fucking love the show. This one episode was good enough to get maybe even a few more episodes out of me. So the next question is, would I recommend it? Now, you have to understand me. I'm a person who hates being recommended bullshit. I hate it with a passion. In fact, if I don't know you and you recommend me some bullshit that's boring and fucked up that wastes my time, you're probably getting blocked. So you can't recommend shit else to me. Like, on the same tip, I hate recommending bullshit to people. I can't have that on my resume. I'll only recommend shit that I feel is worth your time. Because if it was worth my time and I'm picky as shit, it's probably worth your time. That being said, I recommend this one. If you haven't watched the shit and was just looking for a review first, hey, it's the stamp of approval from me. Moving on to the last category. Will I continue? The whole point of the video. Hell the fuck yeah! This shit is probably earned in the 3 episodes that I need to determine. Let me say. This shit has probably earned the 3 episodes I need to determine if I'll continue the show or not in the first episode. Like, in this series, I will give each show 3 episodes max, which will be 3 videos per anime max to decide whether I'll finish the show. By the 3rd episode, I can tell if your show is dog shit or not. Really, most of the time by the 1st episode, I can tell. I can be a few minutes in and tell if your show is dog shit or not, and I'll just keep watching just to confirm that I'm right. Like, you rarely find a unicorn of a show with a terrible pilot and it somehow turns out to be excellent. Not saying it doesn't happen, but refer back to when I said these are exceptions and not the rule. So, congratulations. This shit has earned the double R gun stamp of approval. Like, let me know what you guys want to see reviewed next in the comments below. Try to keep it to shows that are part of the newest seasons. So, this season, the one that's coming up. And, since they have the biggest chance for me not to have seen it. So, preferably shows in their first season. Alright, I think I've taken enough of y'all's time. Double I out.